the Growing for Market podcast.
With the systems, with the technology, we were able to come to the live reports, we were able to come to the live sales, we were able to come to the, to speak to the farmer, to just check the tablet and see like, okay, let's speak now. These are the top 10 selling products that you have for this month. These are not selling. Let's discuss why. Let's put them in the package. Let's try to communicate them differently. And then we have, they message us on Saturday in the morning. They say like, oh, we forgot to add the product. And then we say like, okay, don't mention it. It's added basically in 1 minute. Upload pictures, just add it to the price list and that's it, and it starts selling. So it's basically working as a Swiss clock.
Hello and welcome to the Growing for Market podcast, where we talk about growing, marketing, and the business of growing vegetables and flowers for local markets like farmers markets, CSAs, farm stands, and local wholesaling. I'm Katie Kula, your host and a writer for Growing for Market magazine. For 33 years, the magazine for flower and vegetable market farmers. If you're enjoying the podcast, just wait till you see the magazine. Go to growingformarket.com for more. Also, if you could give us a follow and a rating, it really helps other like-minded people find the podcast.
Local Line is the most popular software platform for farmers and food hubs selling direct to consumer. With features like e-commerce, inventory management, subscriptions, and box builder, Local Line helps you grow sales, save time, and streamline your operations. In fact, last year, farms that used Local Line grew their sales by 23%. Ready to switch to a proven sales software that does it all? Local Line has no setup fees, no commissions, and will migrate your storefront for free, so you'll be up and running in no time. As a GFM podcast listener, Local Line is offering a free premium feature for 1 year with your subscription using the coupon code GFM2025. Don't wait. Start your season off the right way with Local Line. Today's episode of the Growing for Market podcast is brought to you by BCS America. On our farm, we've had our BCS two-wheel tractor for over a decade, and with no belts to slip, its all-gear-driven construction is still going strong. Though we originally got it for rototilling, we kept it even when we went mostly no-till because it can do so many other things around the farm. From snow blowing to making raised beds with the rotary plow to chipping wood, it can do just about anything you might need on a farm with the right attachment. Need to shred a cover crop? A BCS flail mower will make quick work of even the most vigorous cover crop and chop it up so it breaks down quickly. Want to stir in compost or amendments without inverting soil layers? A power harrow turns your BCS into a precise tilthing machine with depth control so you don't mix deeper than you want to. With so many attachments to choose from, it truly is the Swiss Army knife of farm implements. It's why, instead of saying two-wheel tractor, so many people just say BCS. Tractors and attachments are on sale through the end of the year. Visit bcsamerica.com to find sale pricing and your nearest dealer.
Hello, everyone. Today I am talking with Anna Ljubojević and Nikolina Kovačević of Mali Plac, which is a food hub in Slovenia. Mali Plac works with 30 different Slovenian farmers and food vendors to produce fresh seasonal food for its 6,000 customers. Now, for our listeners who don't immediately know much about Slovenia or have a globe right in front of you, just as a reminder, it's a smaller country just south of Austria in Europe and has a population of just over 2 million people. On their website, Mali Plac describes their goal of making the path to the plate as short as possible by connecting eaters with Slovenian farmers. They also emphasize the reduction in carbon footprint, the joy of eating seasonal foods, and the ease of efficiency of their website and distribution system. Anna and Nikolina, thank you so much for joining me today. We were chatting before we started recording about how this is my first over ocean interview for the podcast. I think we've had a few other people, obviously lots of Canadians and a few other people that the other hosts have interviewed, but this is fun and also pretty miraculous. I'm here in Oregon, you're in Slovenia, we're chatting about food. I'm sure we have so much shared common ground. So I'm really excited to hear about your program, how you work with farmers, and hopefully we can get some ideas out to some farmers in the US, Canada, and all across the world about maybe some strategies that they could use, things they could start. So first of all, right off the bat, what does Mali Plac's name translate to in English? Because I know it has actual meaning in Slovenian that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hi to everyone. So I have good news. This is our first over ocean podcast as well. And we live in Slovenia. It's a very small country. I think some American people will know us for Luka Doncic. He's the guy that was born and raised here. So this is like, actually, I think it's the most famous thing at this moment.
There you go.
The second one will be in this podcast, Mali Plac. So the name actually translates from Little Market. Actually, the original name is Little Market for Future because I'm originally Croatian. And when I got married in Slovenia, the first thing that was on my mind was like, let's find real food. So like a transition from Croatia, I was living in a house. I came here to live in an apartment and like, oh, I will not eat the supermarket food. And I said, where's the village where we can have some like farm food? And this is how like my original idea when Mali Plac became something more than only searching food for my family. Then I said, okay, this will be a little market for future. So we will connect different farmers in a small market and we will provide better future for my kids and for other kids, other families that were that moment our friends. So this was like first original idea and this is where the name came from. So it's like now it's becoming like a little bigger Mali Plac.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, you have 6,000 customers that buy through the program.
These are 6,000 families actually. So it's like 6,000 families with kids. And like some of them they're single, but mostly their families are like with Nikolina. Nikolina has very nice saying, "Who are our customers?" I will just let her jump in.
Yes, Nikolina. So Nikolina, you're in charge of marketing, right? So
Yeah. Hi, Katie. Thank you for having us. So I'm just gonna briefly say how do I live my version of life through Mali Plac. I think that Mali Plac is more than just like a food market. It's actually a community of people who are trying to do it like the old-fashioned way, like also greeting people when they come to the market, also, trying to help other people who cannot pick up their food and those kind of stuff. So real actually building not just like a market, but actually a community. So yeah, when I think about the people who are buying at Mali Plac, I think we have three different kinds of people. One is definitely, like some young mom who just wants to have the best for her family and is like searching for, let's say, alternatives, which should be normal. But yeah, in our case, alternatives for a healthier food, for a food which is rich with the nutrients and that kind of stuff. Then we have the, let's say, mid-aged ladies. Mostly it's ladies ordering. But then when you come to the pickup location, it's mostly their husbands. Guys picking up. So yeah, we always joke like, who is actually the customer of Mali Plac, And then we also have the, let's say, third generation, basically like the older people. I think the oldest customer of Mali Plac is 84 years old.
86.
A lady. 86. Yeah, so we have them who really want to support farmers, who really want to support local food. They are maybe, a bit older to be working in their own garden all the time. So yeah, they are using Mali Plac basically as their own source of food. So it's pretty vivid community.
yeah, it's interesting. The three demographics you just described are almost exactly the same as the demographics we had for our CSA farm that we ran for 15 years. The people who have young kids, the middle-aged, often the women getting it up, and then often maybe sometimes the husband's coming to pick up.
And mostly what I see with middle-aged people, what I see is that at this moment, most of them, they're like cancer survivors, like some people that had some medical difficulties. And because of this, they're changing their habit of preparing food or buying food or searching for food. Even the knowledge they are searching for from us is like, can you help us? Which are the nutrients that are good for us? What kind of recipes can we use? So they're like actually asking a lot of information to get back, like they're really curious customers.
That makes sense. And so, Anna, you started this. How long ago was that it's then now grown to the 6,000 households?
My son is now 7, so it was 8 years ago. It was 8 years ago. It was just like pure accident. First, I was searching for like some kind of meat. I didn't want to buy meat in the supermarket. So I found a farmer that has whole range chicken. And then she said, okay, but if I deliver it to Slovenia, because she was living like 300, 400 kilometers from us, she said, if I deliver it to Ljubljana, to the capital, can you find me some more customers? So what I wrote, I used social network. That was very common in this period of time. It was like the only solution. And I wrote like, if anybody else wants real chicken, you can find it here. And then it became so funny because then there was a farmer that came with tangerines from Croatia, and he said, we're having an issue. Can you help us selling the tangerines, lemons, oranges, and so on? Then the lady that was buying from us already, that time she was buying chicken and oranges, she said, listen, I have a question for you. I have a small farm and we are producing flour. So we are having our own wheat, barley, some other things. Can you please help us? And maybe we can come next time just to be next to these guys, you know? And I was like, no, I'm not organizing this. You don't ask me. And she said, no, believe me, you are the organizer. I was like, oh. And then I got like, oh, this me. And then actually at this moment, we are having 30 different farmers. And they're all like, we are saying it's a traveling caravan. They are changing seasons. So not all of them are 30 at the same moment on the pickup locations, but it's like 10 vans of different farmers. They are not competition to each other. So one of them is producing cow milk, the another one is producing goat milk. It's very healthy here. People use it a lot. Then we have like two farmers with vegetables, different sorts of fruits. And then we have like a sourdough baker that's very, very, very like famous here now. It's like it's ongoing trend for past 5 years. Like everybody wants to bake with sourdough, but it's very, very difficult. And then we have like this baker, and he's really like he's artisan in that's what he does, and he's very young. People want to support him. So like at this moment, really, it became something very serious and a permanent job for even for me and for Nikolina. Now she joined last year. So like we are now total 3 organizing whole Mali Plac.
Okay. It sounds amazing, especially for people who don't want to drive all over, sourcing all these things. How does it work? It's not like a subscription program where everybody gets the same thing every week, right? They get to choose what they want.
Yeah,
So, I
no.
mean, that sounds like it could be a logistical nightmare. How are you making this work with 30 different farmers?
Yeah, it's actually worse, but great fun. It's like we developed a system where we have, let's say, coordination with all these farmers, and they are by every Thursday they need to report us what they will have next week
Okay.
in their offer. So on Fridays, Friday is our busiest day. Everybody like hates Friday and can't wait to go home, and we are like having the busiest day Friday. So for us, Friday is really hectic because we start early morning just to make new offer, and then around 1 p.m. this offer goes out. And this offer at this moment we are having 4 days a week deliveries. They are all delivering together but to different locations all over Slovenia. So we are like covering 4 regions, let's say, 4 days. And then we are sending this email with new offer to our base of customers. We are announcing it online as well. And then the customers, which are these normal regular families, as we said, they are like just typing their orders in the order form, and the farmers are through the live reports, they are seeing what is ordered
Like a dashboard.
Okay.
by day,
Yeah.
like 24/7 their orders, and they are like communicating with us if they have something extras to sell or regarding the frost. Like these 2-3 days we are having the really heavy frost, and I'm presuming like they have now spring onions, first salad, everything, but tomorrow morning announced temperature is -3, and for us it's like heavy frost this time of year because we are already like start of April. So I presume that Tuesday morning they will say this is frozen, this is frozen, this is frozen, cancel this. And because they don't have time, they need to save their vegetables. They don't have time for this customer communication, everything. This is everything from our side. We are taking over this. So, and then like we are in this moment for the orders that already ordered salad, we need to inform them, excuse me guys, regarding the frost, we lost this crop of the salad and you will need to wait like maybe even 1 more month to get new salad. We never know what will happen with the weather. As same as you in US or Canada don't know what. with the weather. And then, like a day before pickups, we close the orders. We send the information, the complete sheets to the farmers. So the farmers, by the time the order, actual last order comes, they are stress free. Because as I know, even you had your farm, like you know how much time, like how time not efficient is collecting all these orders and dealing with them and so on. So this is like Mali Plac. What we do for our farmers is like this kind of marketing support. Actually, it's not only about the customer count or base of customer or the photos or whatever. It's also this communication to the end customer. Because so many times I heard from our farmers, oh, we would never deal with this because we are so bad with this. We know how to produce, but we don't know how to communicate with these people most of the time because people have many. I will just allow myself to say even stupid questions because whoever produced something, we can really see how many questions are nonsense. But on that side, we need to educate customer. Okay, you cannot say this is a stupid question, but you can say you need to understand why this happened or like why this kind of vegetable is now weak, it cannot give the best of itself. And maybe like very very famous is celery juice. Everybody wants to squeeze celery and get the most fresh juice, and then like most of the celery comes from the greenhouses that are not so healthy for you. And like if you want to produce celery under the sunshine on the real soil, it's very, very heavy. And then really I actually needed like 2 years to explain to the customers like most of the celery we cannot grow it in the Slovenia. It's too cold, we don't have enough sun, and we don't want to grow it in the plastic crops, let's say. So then we needed like 2 years to explain to the customer, but celery in Slovenia is actually perfect because the leaves are very healthy. And if you use it in your soups or in your fresh juices, but mix it with something juicy. Don't expect all the juice to come from celery. And this is something what the farmer doesn't have time to do because he needs to use, he needs to be on the field. So I think this is also very good support from our side that maybe eases them their work.
So then they basically get an order sheet from you. They harvest that, and then do they deliver it to you? And then you deliver it, or do? Okay.
No, no. This is the specialty of
sorry,
Mali
I
Plac.
talked too much about celery. What was very important for us, take the food from the hand that feeds you. So if we take the vegetables from them, then they will go to cold storage. They will go into the van and it will last much longer. So what we did, we asked them, can you be the hand that feeds the customer? That means that you need to come to the pickup point. They're mostly afternoon, 4 to 8.
Okay.
And what? That gives them time to work on the field in the morning and afternoon. And they were all very, very thrilled about it because one lady, she said, I'm the best uh, person to give this food to another's hand and to explain what I'm doing
Okay.
with this one. So even the customers, they were really, because by the time we started, everybody else was using delivery services or delivery trucks, or there was like some very well organized ones, but they were like just using one van, picking up from different locations, putting everything in one and then delivering around. Most of the time people were not at home, most of the time things were not picked up and so on. So when we started this, we said, okay, 5 vans or 6 or 7, how many of you are in this weekly offer? Now we start from location to the location. We have usually 6 locations, like 6 cities, or let's say Ljubljana is like almost 1.5 million people. So talking a million people. So we have like 4 different locations in the capital, but smaller cities, because our country is really, really small, you need like 2 hours from one side to another side. So like we can deliver more cities in a day, in an afternoon. And this is what farmers at this moment are doing. They are just coming from each side, from their side of Slovenia, and like starting on one region and then going like a snake caravan to another side of Slovenia. And every pickup of ours, it's like 50, 60 to 100 people comes to deliver to pick up their stuff. I think it's like non-conventional, but works very good for us. And people really appreciate when they meet the farmer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm sitting here thinking, that it feels a little bit like you've created the best of all the worlds because it's a food hub. So for the farmers, there's no waste, unlike a farmer's market where they might bring things and then nobody comes. They know it's already paid for, but they still get to meet the farmer like they would at a farmer's market. I've never heard of a model quite like that before, where there's not just a delivery person who's different.
I always say it's very important to know that each day, like 3 or 4 people don't come. But counting that we have like 300 people per day, this is nothing. And then everybody asks, who doesn't come? Like, how can they be so rude? And you will laugh. Every day, one of the ladies goes to deliver a new baby. So one of them is in a hospital. Then there is 2 of them each day. They have a fight or they end up sleeping on the sofa because our delivery is like 6, 7 in the evening. And then always, each day there is one with a broken car, like something goes bad.
Yes, yes.
But end of the day, 350 or 345 people comes and respects this farmer.
Yes.
The time and the energy he gave to this, like food, and the time he gave to come there, they respect it a lot and they come back.
And now let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. It's with their generous support that we can bring you the podcast for free.
Spring is here, and CSA season is in full swing. If you're ready to grow your CSA and reclaim your time, Farmhand is here to help. With built-in marketing and subscription tools that automate everything from customer support and newsletters to weekly add-ons and billing, Farmhand helps you delegate the busy work so you can stay focused on the farm. On average, Farmhand saves CSA farmers over 10 hours a week. That's 10 extra hours to spend with your family, in the field, or just taking a well-earned breather. Set up a one-to-one demo with Ari, Farmhand's founder and a farmer himself. He'll show you exactly how to streamline your operations, grow your CSA, and stay competitive, all with tools designed for small farms. Make this your most profitable season yet. Get started at farmhand.partners/GFM. That's farmhand.partners/GFM. Whether it's tomatoes to market, flowers in the spring, or vegetables for your family, growing in a greenhouse protected from the weather provides the right environment for a harvest you can count on. Rimmel greenhouses are strong, durable, and easy to assemble, offering the quality that you need to grow productively year-round. Rimmel greenhouses are proudly built right here in America and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. With technical sales staff members located across the country, many with growing experience, the Rimmel Greenhouse's team of experts will serve as your trusted partner every step of the way to ensure that you get exceptional value from your greenhouse investment. Visit Rimmel.com to get a quote today.
And now, back to the show.
I'm just gonna step in again with that strength of the community we built. The thing that we don't get the messages, or like even when people forget the next day, like that is the latest that we get the message. The message is always like, I'm sorry, can you please say my sincere apologies to the farmer? Next time I'm gonna pick up everything, I'm gonna order more, I'm really sorry. It's actually it's the same if you would let your neighbor down. They feel the responsibility to pick up the food because those people woke up in the morning because they had, in their reports, they had to pick, 6 kilos of carrots or whatever. And 1 kilo is for that customer. So they really feel the responsibility of not being there to pick up the order, because they've taken time, they've taken the effort from that person. So I think it's more than just, sales and just in a food hub. It's actually really the group of people supporting each other and actually living with each other.
Family.
Yeah, like a family. It's actually like a little village, everybody knows.
It's actually like a little village. It's not just a name.
Yeah, everybody knows. We call each other by names. They have names of the customers. They don't have just, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5 is number of order. They need to pay you this and this. They actually, call customers by names, even though it's husbands who are picking up, but they say, I came to pick up for this and this, and they're like, it's okay. So yeah, it's the heart that holds all of these things together, because it can be stressful. It can be logistically hard because Slovenia, as small as it is, as good connected as it is, sometimes, you can have bumpy roads, sometimes your car goes off or, road is closed or something. But the heart of it is what makes people, let's say, want to be part of it.
It sounds very cool.
Yeah, I will just say this Friday situation. So at this moment, we are like this Friday, we started with heavy traffic work on our highway. And like part of the route they are taking is highway route. So they closed basically like we have 2-lane highway. So they closed one whole lane. And of course, everything prolonged like maximum double. And the lady that was coming from one of the farms, she called me at 11 in the evening after she finished her day. And she said, Anna, I just want to tell you something because I was crying from Celje to Trbovlje. There are two cities. And I said, why you were crying? And she said, when I came to Celje, because she was 1 hour, 15 minutes late and to the pickup point, and she said everybody else left all the other vans, but she took wrong side out of the runway and she was like stuck in traffic. And she said, I came 1 hour 15, I had 37 customers and there was 37 people in the line waiting for me. And she said, I was thinking there will be 2 or 3 of them. I came, they had coffee for me, they had chocolate for me, and 37 bills were issued out. And she said, I had complete 100% pick up. And she couldn't believe, because she said, after 1 hour 15, I was thinking like maybe half of them will not be there. Nobody will be there. And she was really, really deeply like, like shocked how it happened, because she was expecting no way that a normal someone Friday afternoon will wait 1 hour and 15 minutes more to pick up something, And she's like selling vegetables. So it's not like something that you cannot live without or whatever. And like Nikolina said, I think this is what we have built in these 8 years, this kind of respect. And we appreciate it really a lot,
It sounds wonderful for everyone involved. So you explained how the system works, but you still have a lot of different people putting in orders. What do you use online to make? I mean, we're talking about the heart and soul, but obviously there's also like literally how does this work?
I will say
Like,
this story.
it's not just the two of you with spreadsheets, I hope.
No, it was.
Yeah.
Anna and the spreadsheet. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. What happened? Like, yeah, I have 2 kids. I have a husband, and like, oh my God. And it was me and the spreadsheets and 30 farmers and 1,200 orders per week. And I was like, oh. And then we had a holiday in Vietnam, and I was there and I got pneumonia. And I ended up in hospital, and the things were still working, like I was the only one doing it. And then one day in a hospital, I said, okay, this needs to stop. And then I wrote a message in a programming network, and I wrote like, is there anyone to help me? Because believe me, this is my life. This is like my life goal. This is something that I created, but now it's killing me, and I will end up sick in Vietnam, and things will fall apart, And I wrote this with these words that I'm saying to you. And then Nikolina and her today's husband, Nikolina and her that time boyfriend said, oh, look, this lady, she wrote something very sincere. Let's help her. And then Nikolina will continue now.
Okay, Nikolina, you came in to rescue Anna. How so?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, with my husband now, we were trying to build something which would also be, heartly, which would be like trying to help small businesses not to get stuck in different kinds of, databases, different kinds of systems and tools and platforms, which are all overwhelming because you never know what you're gonna get in the end. And then I said like, okay, this is interesting. And from my whole career, I was first in wine, then in food, then in wine, then in food again. So I was like, okay, this sounds like an interesting project. And then we started working together, searching for tools and platforms and systems that could support the dynamic, the live thing as Mali Plac is, because for most of the businesses, the platforms are built on, they cannot support that much of dynamics, And then everything changes.
Right, where the orders change what's available every week. And sometimes I'm just like thinking aloud here, but one farmer might say, I only have 100 dozen eggs. And then another farmer might be like, I have 70 bunches of, so the inventory changes every week too, right?
It was everything.
Daily, basically daily, yeah.
And then Anna said, like, I want a web shop, but not a web shop. I don't want to be one of the web stores. And I was like, no, my darling, you don't need, you don't need anything like that.
Yeah, I just knew that I don't want to build a web shop. This was like my big no. This was like my priority. Don't build me a web shop.
Because, everybody has a web shop.
Yes.
And this is the community that does not need a web shop, that does not deserve a web shop. So then we started building before Anna was connecting orders through Google Form. And then we started building it on one add-on from Google Form. And then after uploading so many stuff, we came to a conclusion that like, oh my God, this is not going to hold. They don't have enough storage. They are not agile enough. They are not there to keep the speed. And then after Googling, I think it was basically we started collaborating. And then I was like, oh my God, this lady is going to think we are totally unprofessionals because, this is not the program is going to support them. And then we found Local-Line, a Canadian platform, really farm to fork, supporting, community supported agriculture and stuff. Yeah, then we started collaborating with them. And I think they're keeping the speed. Yeah.
No, it was very funny because that time we called the owners there and they said, but you're from Slovenia. And we said, yeah. And they were like, we are, no, he said, we are doing this for English speaking countries. I said, yeah, but if Google Translates work, we can do something. They said, heck, let's do it,
Okay.
Yeah, it took us a week to get them prepared to spread to different markets.
So, okay, I know of Local-Line because they also sponsor the podcast. So, but I've never done the research to find out exactly how their platform works. So that it's set up to help manage these kind of dynamic changing variables and having like a lot of customers and also a lot of farmers.
The thing is that we swap the platform to work for us. Usually, that's how we understood. Usually they have users having a wholesale and then the regular price list. But actually we are using their different price lists for our, let's say, daily route price lists. Because as said, we work on a 4 days for routes. And we have, of course, different customers. And then we have different farmers. Some say, I'm going to go Tuesday, Thursday. Some say, it's just Wednesday this week for me. Somebody will say, I don't have enough vegetables. Put me just on Tuesday. So it's really, really dynamic.
That's a lot of variables.
Yeah, but we're used to it.
Really, they're managing quite good. I can say, like, me as an owner, I just wanted someone to be... First thing that I'd never ever thought, like, we are 6 hours difference, So like this was like my first glitch when I realized, oh my God, if anything happens, they are 6 hours behind us. So that means when we are awake, they are still sleeping. And if anything goes wrong, but what happened? Actually, once something was like a trick for us and we couldn't find a solution. And I just emailed support and they were like, on top of the thing, like the moment when they woke up, it was like 5 a.m. and they were like resolving the thing. So I said, okay, even over ocean, we can communicate and cooperate together. And really, like what I see like the best solution of everything is that like really they are following our dynamics to the maximum because we had like many different little changes in the system or something like this, but everything worked fine. So
yeah, I think with the team of people, not just with the Local-Line as a platform, but with the team, I think we are developing something together which I don't think it was ever seen. It's basically how the technology can help you live the normal life. Because with the systems, with the technology, we were able to come to the live reports, we were able to come to the live sales, we were able to come to to speak to the farmer, to just check the tablet and see like, okay, let's speak now. These are the top 10 selling products that you have for this month. These are not selling. Let's discuss why. Let's put them in the package. Let's try to communicate them differently. And then we have, they message us on Saturday in the morning. They say like, oh, we forgot to add the product. And then we say like, okay, don't mention it. It's added basically in 1 minute. upload pictures, upload, just add it to the price list, and that's it, and it starts selling. So it's basically working as a Swiss clock.
Like even today, we were driving in a car and they say to us, they're like walking the farm. And the lady said, okay, my chickens are good. I will have like 20 more packs of eggs. And I was like, she was driving. I was on my mobile plus 20 inventory up. It was really so easy, And after some time, they asked us, what's the best thing that we did like for you? And I said, my God, if I can just say, I'm not waking in the middle of the night checking if the lemons are sold out or not, because I can see that 11 in the evening, I got an email. Your lemons are sold out. So I have no stress what's going on with the lemons, because with the forms, you couldn't see that. You could like just guess what is it. And at this moment, it's like 800 something products. So it's a lot of things to see and predict. So really, like even me, from my side, like I can see Localine as a long-term partner for us. And I think we don't need to search for, at this moment, we don't need to search for something like more private or more adapted to us, because it works really fine for all 4 days that we are working with different farmers.
Wow. So it sounds like Localine has been really great. I keep trying to imagine the puzzle that is your weekly work and how amazing it must be to have a software and a team of people who can help make that work more smoothly for the farmers, for the customers, for you. Because really, truly what you're doing, connecting 6,000 households with 30 farmers, it's a big task, but it sounds like it's been amazing. If you're up for it, I'd love to talk more while we have you here just about the food scene and farming in general in Slovenia, because it's not something I know a lot about. You've told us about a few of the different kinds of crops and products you have. Can you tell us more about some of the farmers you work with in Slovenia, and just generally, what are the growing conditions like in your region? I don't know that I really know that much about what would be different there from, say, where I am in Oregon in the United States.
Okay, I will try to explain. I think the climate is like basically almost pretty same like to your climate, because we have 4 different seasons. So they're like spring is starting now, like now we have first green leaves on our trees. So it will become like April, May, almost beginning of June. Still it will be like nice weather, mid temperatures, and then June, July, August we have like last past years we have this global warming, so we have like our temperatures are really in summer going near to 40 almost, so it's becoming worse and worse every year. But like what can we do? It's becoming like this all over the world. And then season for us, which is like the most productive also, is like autumn that comes or fall that comes September till September, October, and then like winter almost comes already in November, December, January, February. It's winter time. That is very unpredictable as well. So we have winters that are like full of snow, very cold, or we have winters like this where I bought all the snow equipment for my kids and we had like 0 centimeters of snow in Slovenia. So it's like so wasted shopping. And then regarding the fruit and vegetables, it's really abundant. It's like all colors of rainbow. We start the season with first strawberries, apricots, peaches, cherries. All of this fruit is really local, comes from the region of Slovenia, grows very, very nice without. Most of the fruits are with eco certificate, so they're all bio. And we have farmers that respect traditional ways, but they are searching for new technologies so they can be organic. And it's really getting very good, because we are also Mali Plac farmers. They're in change of generations. So most of them, they are like 30 to 40 years old. Some of them even younger. They are inheriting their farms from their fathers and mothers and older generation that had maybe more traditional ways. And the young generation with this opportunity, they got communicating to the customer this way. They are also finding new, better solutions for this customer, because young customer, they want organic. Young customer wants like package free. So that means plastic free. They want to recycle glass. They want to recycle food cartons like egg cartons or packaging of vegetables. And it's really, really good also for these farmers, because that in that moment they can also save some money and not to like throw away too much of this packaging. So this is good. And then vegetable wise as well, we have everything like from this is like for us traditional Easter vegetables this time, because Easter is coming soon. So these are like radishes, young onions, green salads of like 10 different sorts. And I think it's most probably same in your region as well. And then summer, of course, tomatoes, cucumbers, aubergines, and everything that calls summer salads. And then autumn for us is also very, very colorful, because we have, I don't know, 7, 8 eatable pumpkins that are growing locally here. And we are very, very fond of sour cabbage, sour turnip. There is a lot of this, they call it now very, the fancy name is these kimchis and so on. But for us, it's something our grandmas traditionally prepared. So like kimchi came as a new name, but it's something that we are eating locally many, many years already. And this is how, like, again, a year goes by.
Oh, I just was wondering, so the farmers you're working with, it sounds like they have a great range of offerings. And how, for them, is working with Mali Platz part of what they sell, or is it for some of them all of what they sell?
For some of them, it's all what they sell, because some of them, like even just today, I went to visit one of the farmers as well in Croatia. And like some of them, they're changing their business to, let's say, farm to fork, because previous generations they went to wholesale markets, the price was very, very bad. Then we had communicating with huge grocery shops, the price was very, very bad, food was dying in the grocery shops. And then when we came on the market and when they started to communicate with us and to work together with us, what they did, they have order of 200 kilo strawberries. They can pick it up early morning and deliver the same day. That means one Katie gets fresh strawberry. It couldn't be fresher. And end of the day, they go with empty vans. This is the goal, to go empty car back. And if this empty car comes back, or actually in our case, the car never comes back empty, because the people bring the packaging. So the car always gets back with the empty packaging for the next day. So it's perfect. And that means that there is no food waste, really. And what happens? Like if midday somebody doesn't collect their stuff, I still have social media and I can write, a lady forgot to take 20 kilo of strawberries. Does anybody else want to take it? And like in 2 minutes, we have it sold, because the communication is really, really strong. We have a Facebook group of 35,000 people, and these people are online. We can even very quickly react to if maybe something is not sold out at that moment. So like, I think they like this. Some of them, they're still having a main customer in another channel. Some of them, their main customer is school or kindergarten, but still they have some extras that they want to sell, and they don't want to use it. They don't want to use fridge or cooler to stock it. So they are always communicating to us, and they really like, we have something that we call weekly challenges. So last week we had Swiss chart in a weekly challenge. So now you think, what the hell is weekly challenge? So what we did, we posted that we have a weekly challenge of Swiss chard. Why? Because we need to empty the part of the field where we will plant tomatoes. So that means we have 500 kilos of Swiss chard that we need to sell this week. And then what Nikolina said, because she's very perfect doing this, she says, okay, we have 3 recipes for you, and this is the way how to freeze it in the freezer. So that means you don't need to cook extra, boil extra or something, just cut it. Keep all the ingredients clean, healthy, keep all the nourishments fresh, and like just freeze it fresh. And then 20 ladies back, but my grandma told me that I always need to boil, and then we say, no, 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 no. The new way is like keep the food as simple, as fresh as you can. And yeah, you were before like boiling a little bit, so you can like make it smaller packs or squeeze more in the freezer, something like this. But there is actually no need for this, because anyhow, Swiss chard, you will not eat it raw, you will thermically do something with it, And they like it, they understand the stress of the farmer in that moment. And again, as we spoke before, community is here to help us. And if we ask them very, very honestly, hi guys, we have a problem. We have 500 kilo Swiss chard. We give you €1 cheaper. Can you do something with it? We finished the weekly challenge with 0 Swiss chard and you planted tomato. So it's everyone's goal, because we all want to eat tomatoes as soon as possible because the winter has been long. So
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it sounds fun. It sounds great. And that's so amazing that for some farmers, they're able to make the one outlet their sales and not have to be doing all this. I mean, it sounds like they do customer relation work, but it's just the fun part of chatting in person.
Yeah.
You're doing all of the I assume people with the use of local line too, people are just paying with like credit cards and everything online and that's all tracked. Cause I mean, if they put in orders for bread and eggs and vegetables, that's just all one charge to them. And then on your end, you're sorting it out that each farmer gets paid for what they sold that day.
for us, it's a little bit different. We haven't introduced credit card yet. And I don't think we will do it for now because cash is still very, very strong mean of payment in Slovenia.
It's really not in the US now.
Yeah, we even had a petition to keep the cash still because we believe in Slovenia that cash still is freedom, because I know in US at this moment it's very, very different and even some European countries, they're going cashless. But I will say it loud, once you go cashless, you lose one part of your freedom as well. And this is what in Slovenia we still want to keep. And what is very important for us, that the farmer for their work receive the money, because this money for us in many, many ways goes to buying the food or something to the local people that still don't do business with credit cards. So if we are like doing totally cashless system, it will not support the local community. It supports some other systems, but local community at the end gets very little from it. So for us, I think we are the only ones on local line that we didn't put on the credit card system. And what we did, we are actually issuing the bills to our customers at the day of the pickup at the location of the pickup. So that means if you order something from Mali Plac, you will get a reminder that your pickup is tomorrow at 3 p.m. in Ljubljana, but by the time you come there will be farmers waiting for you. You will just say your name and each of the farmers will give you a receipt. You will pay him. Why? There is another reason. By Slovenian law, some of the farmers that are providing basic necessities like fresh meat or like honey or some fresh vegetables or fresh fruit, they don't need to pay the tax daily because they are paying yearly tax, which is dependent on their square meter of their farm. So I hope you understand me. So they are not obligated to do the actual printout of a receipt. They can only say this is 20 euros and they will pay them 20 euros. But since they are paying tax beginning and end of the year, they don't need to do daily invoices. So it's like a little bit government protected, let's say, and tax is for them actually. At this moment in Slovenia, we are, for example, having tax, which is 22%, but the food tax is only 9.5%. So it's easier for us. Neighboring Croatia, which is the next market we are opening at this moment, 25% for tax and for the food tax. So it's big difference. It's like for us, it's huge difference because at this moment we are on 9.5%. So
Okay, so that's really interesting about cash and paying directly to farmers and the taxation rates. Very different than what people are dealing with in the US.
I was not sure to continue with that one or not, but I think it's very, very important because really for us, this freedom is very freedom is very important actually. And like.
So then my next question is, how does Mali Plac get paid for all the work you do?
We have contracts with our farmers, and these contracts are for marketing activities. So basically, they are percentage of their income that gets to us. At this moment, supermarkets in Slovenia are working with 40 to 100% margin. That means it's like not so much, but again, we are three employed here. We are like really 24/7 standby because I'm so proud on this because every time customer says to us like, oh my god, every other communication, is it like online shopping or whatever, I need 3 days for someone to answer me, and with you answer usually comes like half hour or less, you know. But for us, really at this moment, we my only goal was, I was giving my heart and soul to this Mali Plac and to these customers, and I said we need to continue with this one. And when Nikolina came, she said, "Okay, is it really necessary that we are like from 6 a.m. awake and everything?" And then we said, "Okay, maybe it's not necessary," and we like stopped for a week, and then I saw it's not good. And I actually said, okay, we will find a student. And this student will be awake, but awake, like vivid awake at 6 a.m., not drinking her coffee, but like typing already at 6 a.m. Why? Our orders via local line, they don't stop. There is mothers, breastfeeding mothers that are like breastfeeding and ordering 3 in the morning. There is people that are going to have a jog in 4 a.m. and then afterwards, when they come back, they take a shower and they have the order 5:15. And like if we are not responsive enough, the communication gets lost. And then we are not community anymore. Then we are a web shop, and I didn't want to have a web shop. We are also a psychiatrist. We are also a psychologist. We are everything, mother, father, and best friend. But I think it's really like, I will tell you very honestly, I'm going so far that like today, a lady wrote, "Can you cancel my order because my salary still didn't came and I cannot afford avocado." There was avocado in question. And I wrote her back, "Please, I insist to pay that one because I know I was in my life without money, and I know time will come in your life when you will have too much money or enough money to give something to someone else." And she was like, so touched. But I said, believe me, it's like 15 euros that maybe this moment I will not miss so much and it will mean a lot to you. And she said, but it's only food. I said, no, it's not. It's your energy, it's your goodwill. It's not only food, you know? And
Yeah,
what
no, it's never only food. Food is like everything.
Yes, and what I strongly believe that this small 15 euros will help her to see light in the world, you know? And it's not about me giving her some avocado or something, but I think it's me giving her energy and goodwill to move forward. Because sometimes we are all young, it's very, very difficult to move forward. And if you have someone to push you a little bit, you know, her husband, when I met him, I need to mention him, I said to him, I'm asking too much. Nobody is fast enough to give me answers. And he said, no, you're just working with wrong people. You need to find your tribe. And then I was like, oh, what he said? And he said, you need to find your tribe. And then, for example, when we found local line, I said, guys, you are our tribe now. And even the customers, you are our tribe. And if the tribe takes care about each other, then nothing can go bad.
Don't cry. We are used to crying. Don't
Don't
cry.
cry,
Don't cry.
Katie. Nikolina is crying too much.
I think that you can already feel the community we've built. And this is the reason that people do not have a problem, stopping at the cash ATM to take those, like, I don't know, 20, 50, or like €5, some orders.
Yeah, or waiting 1 hour, 15 minutes for the vegetables to come, you know?
Or being there at 7 p.m. or something, because Mali Plac has developed that much in a good sense to cover the necessary needs for people, for food, the diversity of the offer, so that basically they just go to the supermarket or any other store for, I don't know, detergent or like toilet paper or those kind of stuff, like duvet or, or cushions or something, something that you cannot buy from the local farmer.
And there is something very important as well to mention. So we shouldn't forget about meat. Because you know what we taught the customers? Meat is an animal that has head and tail. and we eat the whole animal. So, beginning of Mali Plac, they were asking, can we have white meat from chicken breast? And we said no, because you cannot get chicken breast. There is whole chicken or cut out chicken, nothing else. Because how many chicken breasts? What is with the leftovers of this animal? Like what is the story with the chicken breast? Millions and millions kilos of chicken breast being sold each day. And at this moment, we know that we really learned that group of people, and it's a big group, that a cow has only one tail and a cow has 4 kilo of liver. And if you want to eat liver, you will need to be very fast on Friday when the new order form goes out. And it's really, really important that the people appreciate this. And then, like, if you see that something is sold out, then your head needs to think different and find another meat or another part of the animal, which one you will cook your dinner.
Anna, you mentioned about people eating the whole animal, and I love that idea. But I will say that in the US, I don't know that liver would be the thing that people would be fighting
You don't
over.
even know.
People are fighting over liver because liver is the richest source of iron. So, like, for
You
us,
don't even know what you're missing
it's
out.
the first baby food. It's the first food that we give to our small children.
Yes. No, I mean, I appreciate it.
You need to create the FOMO about the liver.
The FOMO. Yeah, okay, there you go. That's what we need to do. We need to make the FOMO about the liver. Okay.
Because this is like a traditional Balkan breakfast.
Yeah. Okay. I have one last question for you too. This has been great, very inspiring. So, what kind of advice would you give to others if somebody else wants to start a food hub on a similar model in their region? What are some things they should think about?
Okay, I will start with the owner's perspective, and Nikolina will say the rest. I'm sure she will find the word then. When I started, I was not even thinking what it will become. I started with clean heart. Our logo is like heart, fresh, local. So for me, this heart part was very, very important because, like, whatever I do with a good heart. And I always say I'm like, end of my perfect day is when I wash my face and I can still look at myself and say, hi, you did good today. And in the morning I wake up, I wash my face and say, okay, let's repeat this day. And I think this was the best advice, like, to myself when I was starting, because I said, just take the business with clean conscience. So this would be my advice number one, and then maybe more technical stuff from Nikolina.
Okay. I think that's great business advice for anyone, Anna, about any business. But Nikolina, what would you add?
Do not ever underestimate how strong is the community. And the community starts, those 3 friends, family, and then fools who believe in you in the beginning, and then the rest of the customers. I would say, you need to create your own tribe. And then the best of advice that I also taught together with Anna is be sincere, be as real as possible, because I think people are sick of seeing we are the best. It's about us. You should buy from us. You should do this. You should do that. What we do in our Friday, because we send weekly new order forms, price lists, whatever, I type to people, hi there, Katie. How is it going with you? But not that, long email where it's like every line. This Friday, I just wrote, in April's, these are the foods that we will be eating. And, it's us together. It's all of us. It's the whole community. And then we just do not be afraid to take critics, because even we that check everything that's sent, we make mistakes, change dates, customers are confused. Sometimes, customer can step on a nerve. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't happen. But I think as long as you try to understand the person on the other side, and as long as you try to use technology for good, do not make it vice versa. Do not search for the perfect system, but do as the thing that we did. We switched the main usage of platform. We basically turned everything upside down in order to make it fit for our needs. So yeah, don't spend time, make creative solutions, We would never dream of creating, the price list, local line, like creating their price list into our 4 different order forms and those kind of stuff. So yeah, be creative and go with your heart and always try finding the best solution for the community, not just, for yourself, but for the community. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Is there anything else that either of you want to add or share with our audience of farmers?
I think it's very important that we keep connecting and that we keep talking, and the freedom I mentioned before. I think more communication will bring like this stable freedom to us. That means we can develop our farms, we can develop our businesses, and we can like end of the day sleep tight, So I think this is like our for sure end of the story for today.
Wonderful. And if people want to find you or Mali Platz to connect further and learn more, what are the best ways to find you?
I think this moment, if you write us on Instagram, we are always there. And like Instagram, me and Nikolina, we are answering the messages. So if anybody has a question, if anybody has a need to get advice or to say us something, I'm sure this will be like the fastest and easiest way to reach us.
Yeah. They can learn more about Mali Plac on our website. And there is where we also introduced all 30 farmers with their products and what they actually do. They can also join the Facebook group, or they can just write us on the emails. It's usually name@maliplatz.se. So yeah.
Let me tell you one more thing. Last 2 weeks, we are very, very intensively doing because we are opening Croatian market as well.
Oh, that's great. So you're expanding into Croatia as well.
But this is for new podcast because believe me, we will tell you after you finish this one. This is a whole different story.
Okay, well, we'll have to have you back to hear more about this. Okay, maybe next year after. Okay, well, Anna, Nikolina, this has been so great. My first across the ocean interview. Thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you all the best the rest of this year, and to your farmers too, and your 6,000 households. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Growing for Market podcast. If you've been enjoying the show, please consider giving us a follow and a rating or review. It really helps others find the podcast. For more tips and information from farmer to farmer, check out our magazine at growingformarket.com. Whether you're a commercial grower or just want to grow like one, subscribe to Growing for Market magazine for the nitty-gritty of growing, marketing, and the business of market farming. We publish 10 issues per year with articles written by experienced farmers on topics ranging from tools and techniques to farm business operations and marketing. If you've been listening to the Growing for Market podcast and you haven't yet checked out Growing for Market magazine, we've made a change so you can try the magazine for free. We've added a free month to the beginning of all first-time subscriptions. Try out the digital or paper magazine, and if it's not for you, cancel within 28 days and you'll never get billed. With digital subscriptions starting at just $39 per year, you get a year of the magazine, plus over 150 back issues from the last 15 years. Head on over to growingformarket.com and subscribe today to benefit from over 3 decades of writing by farmers, for farmers, in Growing for Market magazine.